The Misfits Prime card has some big updates. We're going to get into all of the recently announced fights. There are some big names, some big rivals, and even some matchups I did not see coming. And then we will answer the question, is this card worth the hype? Is it meeting expectations? The first one I wanted to get into is the most recent announcement, Whindersson Nunes versus my mate Nate. If you follow the influencer boxing space, you would recognize these two as they fought in the Kingpin tournament, RIP, and you would also know how big of a name Whindersson Nunes is. This man was the co-main event at the Kingpin tournament, and almost the entire crowd left after his fight for the main event. This man has 60 million followers on Instagram, and Misfits is now promoting him along with KSI and Logan Paul as a trio, saying they have three of the biggest influencers in the world on this card. And I don't disagree. I actually did see some people criticize this fight when it was announced. They were saying they don't know who Whindersson is. They don't know who my mate Nate is. But in reality, this is one of the smartest fights they could have made. They already have that UK audience. They already have the USA audience. Expanding out to a huge star in Brazil where he is loved and is a huge name is a great idea. It's going to bring in new eyes, a bigger audience than it already is. And my mate Nate has his own audience too. He is from Thailand. He has a significant YouTube following, and this is just great for the card. Both guys have been in there before. They both lost to King Kenny. Whindersson did not have the best showing against King Kenny. The best Kenny performance we have ever seen. He has some stuff to improve on, but I think this is a great matchup. I think they are on a similar skill level, and it's going to be a good fight. I think they are both going to train hard. If you haven't seen Nate, he seems like the nicest guy in the world, and he loves boxing. That is what I have gathered from this. He loves the train. He's going to take it seriously, and these guys are going to bring it on October 14th. Speaking of King Kenny, he is making his return on the Prime card as well against Anthony Taylor. Another fight I am really looking forward to. I love this matchup. I do see a good amount of people who are angry that King Kenny is fighting Anthony Taylor. I get the point of you don't like Anthony Taylor fighting influencers because he is an MMA fighter. He is a professional. I don't think you could put Anthony Taylor as an influencer boxer, a crossover boxer. He doesn't really belong in that category. But I do like to see influencers fight him as a challenge to really see where they are at, if they are ready to branch out against other MMA names maybe. The big one obviously is Jake Paul. We have seen it in the past. Some of these guys have been in the game for a while now. They want to challenge themselves, and Anthony Taylor is the perfect way to do that. This is a tough matchup for King Kenny, but I also believe he has the skill set to get it done. After his last performance against Whindersson Nunes, he has the audience back on his side. People want to see him fight. They like the new aggressive fight style from Kenny, the confidence, and I hope we see that Kenny show up in the ring. If we do, I think King Kenny's jab is going to be a problem for Anthony Taylor. I see this one going to a decision either way, and I think it's going to be competitive. Anthony Taylor beat Salt Poppy. He's got King Kenny next. Will King Kenny do what Salt Poppy couldn't? I'm excited to find out. Another huge fight that I haven't had the chance to talk about is Dean the Great versus Waleed Sharks 2. Their first fight, one of the best fights we have seen in crossover boxing. Waleed Sharks dominating most of that fight, put him down multiple times. Dean the Great coming back and landing a nasty shot to end the fight. Waleed Sharks, a little bit of controversy on that ending there. He didn't kind of turn around in time, and the ref called the fight. And now these two are back, some of the biggest rivals we will ever see, and I can't wait to see it. Before the stoppage for the last fight, Waleed was dominating that fight. I do expect this one to be a lot closer from the start. I don't think Waleed's going to come out in that same dominant fashion. However, I do think I'm leaning towards Waleed in this rematch. Dean the Great has the better power. I do believe that, and he has the chance to knock him out. But I just think Waleed has the better skill set. I think he has the tools to put him away. I don't know yet. It could go either way. But as of now, I'm still leaning towards Waleed in this rematch. This is going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. And then finally, we got the Chase Damore versus Tempo Arts heavyweight title bout. Yes, this one is for the belt. Chase Damore, who has never won a fight, I think he's like 0-3, is fighting for a belt. When have you ever heard of that? I'm not that mad about it. I get they don't have really any heavyweights on the roster yet, so they kind of just have to throw him in there. I give him respect for taking his last fight against Alan Belcher and surviving for how long he did. And then he also had the one where he was going to win and then went full MMA style at the end and got disqualified. I don't even know what to say about Chase Damore at this point. I just think it's hilarious that he's fighting for a title. Dumb a little bit, but it's funny. And when I first saw this one, I was like, it's an okay fight. But then I saw it's a prelim fight, and that made me feel a lot better about this one. I don't think this one really deserves to be on the main card, and it's not. So I think this is a great prelim fight. It's an entertaining one. And honestly, I see Tempo Arts winning this fight. I think I have been pretty impressed with Tempo Arts in the past. Chase Damore, I still can't get this clip out of my head.
Down, break your knees. I like that. Oh, boy.
I get he's improved, but he's just not very coordinated, and he moves awkward. I don't think he's going to get the job done here. Tempo Arts, I've been impressed. I think he has a solid skill set, and he's only going to improve. I got Tempo Arts in this one to be the first Misfits heavyweight champion. But who knows? Maybe Chase will win this one, and his first win will be for the belt. And those are the updates for the Misfits Prime card. We have all of those fights that I have mentioned, plus the KSI Tommy Fury fight in the main event. And then we got Logan Paul versus Dylan Dennis. I've talked about those ones before. I assume I will make more videos about those ones in the future. I just wanted to come on here and talk about the updated card, and I'm really looking forward to this card. I do think it is meeting expectations. It is living up to the hype at this point. Dean vs. Waleed, banger. That could be a main event on any other card. Whindersson Nunes versus my mate Nate, two huge international stars. Whindersson Nunes, one of the biggest entertainers in the world. Huge fight. King Kenny versus Anthony Taylor, one of the most competitive fights we will see. A huge challenge for King Kenny coming off of a dominant win. I love this one. And Chase Damore versus Tempo Arts. A prelim fight, and for a prelim fight, I'm very happy with it. And that is not even the full card. We have multiple fights to be announced still. Salt Poppy's opponent to be revealed soon. This card is meeting expectations, and I have a feeling that the full card will meet those expectations as well. Subscribe for more boxing content and updates. The support is much appreciated. Thank you for watching. Peace.